I guess the lady's not going to come on and say this meeting is being recorded. I don't know. Normally she does. Okay, so I did what I do every time that I feel overwhelmed with something, and that's make a knows and need to knows list. I really do. I tell the students that like for this PASL, I've made a knows and need to knows list about 1,000,000 times. So the problem statement that we're doing. We have a high number of students at Irvin and in the New Tech program that are coming with low reading and writing levels. Students struggle to approach grade level on the English 1-star and later struggle in advanced academic classes. How can we use reading and writing strategies in all classes to raise our students' literacy and better prepare them for their advanced academic classes? So that is my whole problem that I'm solving on campus. The data that I have collected and can change, can look into other places and things like that, is our STAR scores. So our STAR scores in 18, 17, 16. We had, I'm calling us STEM. We had scores that Laura was able to share with us, and I don't know where they went off to in the Ethernet. I have really, really dug through all my emails and searched, and I'm in the search for our program's specific scores because I know that
I can get that for you.
You do? Okay, thank you. Hence why I put the question marks. I'm like, someone in this room might have answers to these question marks. But we fall at 47% as a campus. A good, 20% less than the state in all 3 of the years. And as a district already, we fall 10% less than the state. Our AP results, I did not know that there's a thing called a taper, which is like the entire school synthesized in data. We have access to AP results. So this is the amount of students on campus that are participating in AP classes. And that is 15% and 13%. And of those percentages, only 17% of the 15% passed, only 22% of the 13% passed. So this is my marker for how well are they doing in some of their advanced academics. I don't have the data on UT on-ramps, completion or participation. I don't have the data on dual credit completion or participation. So this is what I've been looking at to kind of see if they attempt the test, how many of them are actually passing.
I have a clarifying question, Emma.
One more time.
I have a clarifying question.
Go for it.
The 15.6% and 13.8%, you said that was how many were taking AP classes, or that's how many signed up for the AP test?
This is how many are taking the classes. These are how many are, of those percentages, passing the test. So if you take this 17%, that comes out of these 15% of students
right
on campus. So really, these are very small numbers in the long run. These are the amount of students that have been identified, and Dawn, I have them listed here. I'm just gonna scroll back up. These are the students that did not pass their 7th grade STAR, which is the last STAR that they took. So we do have 20 identified in our Eduphoria. And I'm waiting for data. I know that we're going to be able to get data as far as that 3 weeks assessment or whatever they took with the ALS. So
I have a quick question about
go
that
for
data.
it, and I can go back to that data.
Okay. Do you, and this, it's been obviously, it's been a really long time since I taught 7th grade. We used to give a 7th grade writing exam and a 7th grade reading exam.
This is from the reading.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Is
This
to
is
make
from the
sure
reading. I
okay.
could add a column here as to if they got approaches on the writing as well.
I don't know if you want to focus on that because you're focused on reading. So
I think that I need to be focused on reading,
okay.
primarily just because it's what we can do as other contents to bring in.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure this was the 7th grade reading star, not 7th grade writing star.
And
You want to indicate that, Emma, on that your chart right there, where's the 7th grade reading.
I'm gonna put the note there, and I will indicate. Thank you. Okay. Any other clarifying questions on the data? Okay. So we know we have data. Oh, where's all my comments? I spent so long yesterday. Hold on, let me refresh. Spent so long yesterday putting all of your feedback from the form into comments. Okay. Just know that I will be sending out this doc. Oh, there they are. Perfect. Students have been virtual for the equivalent of almost a full semester, and many will continue to be virtual for the foreseeable future. That is just a no. That's something we know. Protocols need to be virtual and utilize Schoology to the best of its ability. Teachers need a protocol that can quickly and easily be administered to students like a bell ringer. And the person who brought that up was Celeste. She said it needs to be a bell ringer or an exit ticket or something that connects to the learning. Protocol needs to be easily graded while offering the students feedback in order to be effective and sustainable. So Missy brought up that anytime a kid can journal in class or express their feelings, past stories, etc., and get meaningful response from their teacher in return, they're going to write and read more. That goes a lot with SEL, but also I think that they also need meaningful feedback if they're going to be observing or writing about content, nonfiction as well. The protocol needs to fit any nonfiction text. Missy also brought up, expository articles, Nat Geo, social, she brought up the social and emotional learning again. I have that down here. But, just fitting with any kind of nonfiction text so that all contents can use it and reinforce student learning. Stephanie, you brought up that reading articles, news and pop science connections, multiple sources, analyze, absolutely. Modeling the reading and annotation helps the students, in particular our ELL students. So Jane brought up scaffolding and reading, also graphic organizers. And free writes also need to be an option for SEL and more exposure to writing. Celeste, again, she brought up a simple way, like simple, how was your day? And then Missy brought up students are drawn to social and emotional connections, weird facts, gaming, technology, like something they're interested in. We have an amazing team. And if anyone was going to raise literacy rates during the pandemic, it would be our team, to be honest. So with that, my need to know section is very open because again, I am not an expert, and if I was, I'd be making $1 million and I would be, the next Lydia Dobbins. How can we get the students reading and writing as bell ringers or short activities so that it's a sustainable practice? And what I mean by sustainable is me as a non-English teacher, I'm so sorry. I have to be able to have them read and have them analyze, but also be able to grade very easily and actually utilize it in my classroom. If I can't grade it easily, to be honest, it's not going to happen. or they're not going to get feedback from it, meaningful feedback. Some protocols that were brought to my attention. Jane does this in her classroom, and we've done it in our classroom as well. The 3-2-1 protocol, and I kind of synthesized it. Jane, you can elaborate if you need to, but it's 3 things that you have questions about, 2 things that you have learned, 1 small summary of the article, or we use it in the classroom to summarize the lesson, the whole class.
I've modified it a bit. What I have them do is 3 things you noticed or have questions about, 2 things that from there, 2 that you are going to elaborate upon.
Two things that you have
learned and will elaborate on. So in other words, it's going deeper. So 2 things you learned, elaborate upon them.
Ugh.
No worries.
2 things that you learned.
Yes, elaborate on. Yep. And then.
Yep.
And then the one small summary of the article can be an I wonder, or it is draw your conclusion. So you're drilling down to a conclusion that can be actually used as a claim in an essay.
That's important.
Yeah, claim an essay about the whatever they're learning.
Okay, I'll fix all that. I like your clarifications on all of that. I also like that you're using the words that we use in the terminology that we use in our program.
Yes.
So that's one protocol. And again, I wasn't the originator of any of these protocols. I'm just the one bringing it to the table here. Another one that I was introduced to from Dawn was question, observe, predict. And this is where you place, if I'm not mistaken, I put this here so that I could find a good website for it. I wasn't able to find great websites for it when I looked them up early this morning again, because I had forgotten the what QOP. I was like POQ, QOP. So it's question, observe, predict. And to my understanding, you place questions throughout the reading. You can place an observation in the reading, and you can place a prediction within the reading. So it would scaffold the reading itself and have you stop at certain parts and do those actions. Is that right, Dawn?
Yeah, so you actually stop the students reading and you ask them to create a question, create an observation, or create a prediction.
So they're creating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that as a non-English teacher, one is easier to possibly create than the other, but I think both are super valuable and use the STEM cycle that we've been trying to incorporate in our science classes, in our non-English classes. Do we have any thoughts on the protocols or any other protocols that might offer to the table?
I'm typing one in the chat.
Okay. And I will open that chat. I'm sorry, guys, that I didn't have the chat open.
I know last year they had, we did a mini PD on the thieves strategy. The English department did that for all the other contents as well. And I did utilize it a few times in my science class. So it was like analyzing the title and then.
I think, did we use that with poetry or something like that? I think I have used that.
Yeah, I actually think it
Yes,
was
we did.
Minus who presented on it, and it was for.
Yes, it was. You're right.
Okay, and then, okay. So the other one that Jane has put in the chat is a Springboard annotation, which is good because our students should be utilizing Springboard in their English classes. Underline central claim, star evidence that supports the claim, circle defined vocabulary, use dictionary, relate to contextual use. My only thing about that is let's say I bring in a Nat Geo article, I then have to convert it, I think, to PDF and then have to them learn how to annotate that on PDF. I don't know. It definitely is valuable. I just think that it gets harder when we can't annotate in person.
Well, and that one of the things I've noticed, and I'm trying to figure out, there may be a tool to annotate in Schoology, but you would have to possibly take the Nat Geo article. Are you talking about Nat Geo or New Zealand?
The goal of all of this is to fit it with anything, because we as educators don't turn off at the end of the day. And I pick up articles on Facebook. I pick up articles on TikTok or whatever I'm on after the day has ended. Right. I might see something, I might hear it in a podcast, and I'll want to use that in my classroom to fit my content. And so I just want something that can fit any form of article.
I think that we probably do need to teach them how to interact with PDFs, because I think that's the future of how things are going.
Yeah.
So it's a soft skill, what we would call a soft skill or a executive type functioning skill in a way. No, but it's a soft skill that they need to have.
And how to teach them how to PDF. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
how to PDF and how to write on a PDF.
You know what? That's a very interesting point, because Ozzy had an assignment as a 6th grader, and the science teacher just said, okay, here. And it was a PDF file and expected the kids to automatically know how to do this. And I had to sit there and learn it with him. So that's true, Emma. What does literacy look like in the digital age also? And how are we adapting to that? And a lot of it is learning how to navigate first the applications before you can actually dig deep in the reading.
And we could be honest with ourselves and say that this test that they are used to taking on paper could be digital this year.
Well, there's always been those rumors every year where, oh, everyone's going to take it online. STAR test is online this year. So now more than ever, that those skills, even highlighting.
My advanced academics people, is this something that they do there too? Like in UT and dual credit, and how do they interact with those texts? Oh, Jane, you're muted.
We have them, well, one of two things. We use Common Lit. Common Lit has an annotation system built in directly for dual credit. And we also, I've taught them iPDF stuff and then teach them how to do it. And if they don't have a MacBook, I teach them how to use DocHub.
I believe that another thing came in from Dawn. You have 2 English teachers. I should have delineated English 1 and English 2. Cami, is that a protocol?
No, it's actually
Oh,
it's a program you can use to annotate. It's an extension, a Chrome extension, and you can literally open documents with Cami, and you can annotate and write directly on PDFs.
I'll be looking into that and talking to you, Dawn Ray.
Mm-hmm.
okay. So you know what? Thank you for having me come out of my comfort zone. And I think that if we're going to translate it to all contents, having other people come out of their comfort zone and utilize PDFs and annotate on PDFs and actually have them annotate. I think that thank you for resources and ideas on how to do that. I am going to have a Google document sent out today where we can help fill out this section, but what resources do teachers have access to? Short nonfiction articles. I think that as teachers, our time is so monopolized right now that we need areas where we can find nonfictions. I would utilize Newsela in our Common Lit, thank you. I utilized Newsela in the classroom for the first time in a long time. I think I've used it maybe once or twice, and it came out with an article that was so good that I was sending it to adults that I know, and they were interested in it, about how Google redraws borders based on who's looking, and Google is shady. So we also have Nat Geo, we have Discovery, we have TED Ed, Common Lit, and we can help fill this out a little bit more. I think that if we offer teachers protocol ideas and we offer them resources, then there is no excuse not to build in bell ringers and things like that can bring articles into the classroom. Something else that I have been formulating in my head, again, as to be sustainable. What do you guys think about creating something kind of like this for their writing? The only issue is that there is no one size fits all for anything. But as a teacher, when I'm giving feedback in Schoology, I go in the comment section, and to be honest, I like something that I can copy and paste, and then within there, I can be like, punctuation errors. Yes. That way I'm not reinventing the wheel every time I'm giving feedback to students. I think that, what do you guys think about something like this, where we would give them a table to give feedback, and then they can
Well, the feedback would have to depend on the purpose of the writing that
Yeah.
you're giving them. So I know it's cheesy to refer to them, but the red cards, do you have the practice cards by some chance?
I do have the practice
Look at
cards.
the red ones, the assessment ones, and on the back, a lot of them could be adapted into an easy chart like this, depending on the purpose of what you're having them write for, or what you're looking for. And then on the bottom where it says reflect and go deeper, there's awesome resources to look at also.
And those are both on the red cards.
Yeah, the assessment practices.
Okay.
And it can be adapted for writing, reading, so take a look at it.
Okay.
You need to share those because I have no idea where my cards are.
I can forward. I think I can forward.
I'll
me.
send you the PDF.
They're in the, Jane, we put them in the RMT folder on Google.
Oh, thank you. I'll look there.
I like the table also because this is the most common like feedback that I do give my students when they have writing. Obviously, other than like, did you answer the questions that I was asking you? But they're often riddled with these type of errors, and it frustrates me. The only other thing I would say would maybe be spelling.
Yeah.
Because they don't use spell check, even though since they're typing most of the time they get the little red underline.
Even though they do have access to Schoology spell check, but they just don't use it because you have to physically click a button for that to function. Any other thoughts on creating maybe these little tables to go along with protocols or whatever we push out?
And one of the things that that the science teacher and I are doing, along with my co-teacher, is taking work done in chemistry and summaries written in chemistry, and they're going to be looking at them, I think it's this week, where we're going to have the students actually read some of the model work that was done and use a rubric to respond to it so that they can see that their writing and reading isn't just limited to our classroom, and that they're not just being evaluated in our classroom on those skills. That was really more the science teacher's idea than mine.
It was the science teachers freaking out and complaining and worried, and then the English teacher was like, yes, I got you.
Okay.
I think that's where a lot of this, where it's going to be effective, Emma, is doing that cross-curricular stuff, where it's like you have to collaborate with teachers outside your content area, so that way they can, the students will see, oh, like seeing that connection, and it has to be meaningful and impactful in that way too.
I had also told Emma this morning that I was making my T-test goals last night, and so I was of course reviewing examples of my past goals, and one of the examples was, I'm sure it was aimed for non-ELA classrooms, but one of the goals was I will implement more reading strategies in my content. So I mean, I know it's a lot to ask, but I mean, if we did have this school-wide reading initiative, maybe the departments can get together and create their department goal as, you know, creating more literacy-based assessments and activities and strategies for their class as well.
And actually, that was a goal that the campus had, was to implement the writing and reading into every classroom. We started to do that last 9 weeks, but COVID hit and it went away a little bit. Because if you look at the SIP and if you look at the TIP, which is two different things, PS, it's in there, strategies and everything of writing and the support that's beginning to give and training and stuff. So it's in there. It is.
Is there any other feedback or observations after kind of going over all of this stuff? Oh, thank you. Sorry, my brain's turned off. Campus improvement. An idea that kind of comes from all of this is not to try to shoehorn, I don't know, not trying to fit it all into one perfect protocol, but rather to offer teachers an infographic that shows them multiple protocols that they can use, multiple sources they can use, and easy applications for those protocols. Any thoughts on that? Almost like a choice board. I just don't know if it's appropriate to say this is the one protocol you should be doing for all your articles, when, you know, like the 3-2-1 protocol would be great for some articles, and then maybe the QOP could be great for another article, thieves, but then I don't want to overwhelm either. Reading and meaningful in other classes, it will just certainly build, stamina.
Well, the QOP is for during reading, and the 3-2-1 would be post reading. So if you could have a pre-read, during read, and post read, I think just one set, and if they could get at least one in there during their lesson, so you could have the pre-read, the post-read, the during read, and then push those out. And then if the teacher can get one in there, that would be
one, like a 9 weeks.
No.
Oh,
But that's what I'm asking, because like as a
they should be, honestly, Emma, you should be reading and writing every single day in your classroom. You should be. And that's why I had pushed the whole exit ticket and bell ringer, because it's an easy, like quick write, quick readout. I know a lot of pushback is always in math, because they're like, you know, we don't do that much word problems. Showing them a word problem, like what they're going to be going into, and having them analyze it beforehand, looking at vocabulary words that they don't know, and then diving into the vocabulary words. And then you were having the students create their own word problems now using those vocabulary words, you know, and then at the end, now they know how to answer that word problem. Like, it's so easy for it to be done, and it doesn't take a whole class period. It's so fast. It's just changing that mentality of the teacher.
I agree.
Emma, would you consider even throwing in speaking? Because I know a lot of times with the kids, reading, writing, and speaking go hand in hand, and just them being able to synthesize their ideas and have that ability to talk through and process what they read and share the ideas with each other. You know, that's why a lot of the Socratic seminar protocol or the text protocols, there's a lot that, I mean, because it's 2 point. It's like, if they have something to say regarding their reading, is it how they say it, you know, with the grammar and the correct sentences and all that, and what they have to say. A lot of times the kids, it's hard for them to have an original thought, or to at least come up with their own answer of what they're reading, I guess, and to be able to speak back and forth with someone through that thinking is very helpful.
And it kind of scaffolds towards being able to write and express that. Is that what I'm getting from that? Okay. Yeah.
One thing that we're underutilizing is that there is an audio record function on the assignment that students can use. There's also a video one as well through Schoology, as long as their technology meshes with it. And so I have them, you can either type it or you can do it orally, depending on some of what we're doing. And they've really taken to recording their answers, because if I want to get them to go more in depth, they'll talk more than they'll write. And so
that is so cool, Jane, because you're allowing them to mix it up. It's like, hey, sometimes you're going to have to write, but it's okay for this particular assignment if you just record it. That's awesome.
Here. Yep.
So I'm going to bring up again, do you think that it would be valuable to roll out to teachers, again, like an infographic, a resource that shows them how to implement more reading, writing, analyzing, I'm going to say analyzing, which encompasses the speaking, as bell ringers and small activities in their classrooms?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Especially
go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just saying, especially for the non-ELA content. Oh, sorry, Dawn.
Yeah.
Okay. I will be rolling out a Google form to you guys today, kind of any other questions or clarifiers or anything that I need. But I really, really appreciate your time. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And just, yeah, thank you guys for contributing to all of this and helping this become better than what one person who is not an expert can do.
Thank you for thinking of this, Emma.
Yeah.
You know, Emma, a next step would be also, and I know it's probably gonna be more on your plate, and I know since we're gonna do it for New Tech, put check-ins. So when do you want us to bring in student work that shows that it's been implemented?
That's a good idea.
My
that's
heart's melting because I need student work, and
Because that's the issue, is that we give teachers all this information, but we never come back during PLC to look at what was implemented, what worked, what didn't, like analyze it, you know, and then, okay, now we're going to go back and do it again. And then we're going to bring back student work. So like kind of like having like the checkpoints within there and stuff. And even I would even have the teachers select the student that they know that they're struggling, kind of like your slows, you know, when you have to put on that rubric where the students are at, pick a student that's low. So that way you can see them progressing through the whole year with that in mind of what we've been doing and implementing and so forth.
Celeste, I'm expanding that. Check-ins for teachers, looking at student work, and then check-ins for students, looking at progression in their literacy. I think that's super important.
All right, I've got to run.
Okay, I thank you guys. Thank you. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Really quick, Celeste, they canceled the game?
Yep.
We were waiting for it. We were waiting.
They canceled the game for today and for tomorrow.
Why?
So I heard that Pebble Hills had a positive case already.
With their freshmen, huh? That's why they canceled our freshman game. I knew it. I felt it in my soul.
So I don't, but if what happens is that even if it's on a freshman